The courtroom atmosphere was tense and emotional as Shawn Diddy Combs faced the reality of his sentence. Once a billionaire music icon, he now appeared shattered, wiping tears from his face, his voice trembling as he admitted, "I hate myself right now." His breakdown marked a striking contrast to the powerful persona he had maintained throughout his career. For nearly 2 years, investigations and raids on his mansions exposed a dark side of Hollywood and chipped away at the myth of his untouchability. After being convicted on 2 counts related to transporting individuals for prostitution, Diddy received a 50-month federal prison sentence. The prosecution had fought for more than 11 years behind bars, while his legal team pushed aggressively for just 14 months, hoping his celebrity, influence, and legal resources would tip the scales. Instead, the judge landed in the middle range, calling the sentence serious and emphasizing the gravity of his conduct. The judge also noted that Combs would still have a life beyond prison, a statement that hinted at accountability but also restraint. Despite being cleared of the heavier charges, sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, Diddy's conviction was far from minor. Prosecutors rejected defense claims that he hadn't profited from the exploitation, dismissing such arguments as irrelevant to the actual harm caused. In court, multiple parties described him as dangerous, manipulative, and unrepentant, painting a picture of someone who believed money and fame could shield him indefinitely. Shockingly, reports surfaced that Diddy had booked speaking engagements for the following week, assuming he would walk free. That arrogance backfired. His lawyers, stunned by the outcome, immediately announced plans to appeal and hinted at political strategies, including the possibility of seeking a pardon from Donald Trump. The downfall of one of the most powerful figures in entertainment was no longer theoretical. It had arrived, and the world was watching. The courtroom was heavy with tension as Shawn Diddy Combs faced sentencing for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purpose of prostitution. The man who once ruled the music industry with charm and influence appeared vulnerable and human, wiping tears from his eyes as he spoke before the judge. His emotions were raw, his voice trembling as he admitted, "I hate myself right now," before the judge and before this sentence came down. These words reflected not just remorse, but the stark reality of a man who had lost control over his life and public image. Diddy's family attended the hearing, visibly emotional, pleading for leniency. His mother, Janice, and children made heartfelt statements about the toll his absence had taken on their lives. The death of Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner and mother of his children, added a layer of tragedy to the scene, amplifying the vulnerability of his children as they spoke about longing for their father. Video footage he played in court attempted to humanize him, showing a softer, nurturing side, playing with his children, opening schools, and engaging in community work. Despite this, the video's polished production may have backfired, making him appear calculated rather than genuinely reformed. The prosecution countered these pleas with stark reminders of his crime's severity. They highlighted the violence, domestic abuse, and manipulation involved in his actions, emphasizing that no wealth or fame could shield him from accountability. Letters from victims, notably Cassie Ventura, revealed ongoing fear and trauma, underscoring that the impacts of Diddy's conduct extended far beyond the courtroom. Amid this mix of remorse, family advocacy, and legal strategy, the judge faced the difficult task of balancing compassion with justice. While Diddy hoped for a minimal sentence, the court needed to convey that such crimes carry serious consequences. In this emotional courtroom, the human drama intertwined with legal reality, painting a complex portrait of a fallen mogul confronting both personal and judicial reckoning. As the trial progressed into the sentencing phase, the focus shifted from public opinion to the intricate legal machinery that would determine Diddy's fate. The prosecution presented detailed accounts of his criminal conduct, outlining patterns of coercion, manipulation, and repeated exploitation of vulnerable individuals. These accounts were supported by testimony, text messages, and financial records, establishing a clear timeline of intentional wrongdoing. The legal team stressed that Diddy's celebrity status had facilitated his crimes, allowing him to intimidate or silence victims, making the justice system's intervention even more critical. Diddy's defense lawyers, on the other hand, argued for leniency based on mitigating factors. They cited his philanthropic work, decades-long contributions to music and culture, and the emotional impact of incarceration on his family. Character witnesses spoke of his generosity, mentorship, and community efforts, attempting to frame him as a complex individual capable of reform. The defense also emphasized the remorse he had expressed publicly and privately, urging the court to consider rehabilitation over maximum punishment. Despite these arguments, the sentencing was heavily influenced by the gravity and intentionality of his crimes. Judges are tasked not only with evaluating past actions, but also with sending a message about societal standards and accountability. The court had to weigh Diddy's fame, resources, and influence against the lasting harm inflicted on his victims. The prosecution argued that a strong sentence would serve as both justice and deterrence, ensuring that celebrity status does not create immunity from the law. Ultimately, the courtroom reflected a tension between public fascination with a fallen star and the cold impartiality of legal judgment. While family pleas and media attention highlighted his personal side, the law demanded a measured response to criminal conduct. The sentencing decision would hinge on balancing these human stories against the clear, documented evidence of harm. This phase of the trial underscored the challenge of ensuring that justice prevails over celebrity privilege, setting a precedent that no one is above the law. The sentencing of Diddy sent shockwaves through the public, fans, and the music industry alike. Social media exploded with reactions ranging from disbelief to outrage, reflecting a divided audience grappling with the complexities of fame and accountability. Supporters of the victims praised the verdict as a triumph of justice, highlighting that even high-profile celebrities must face consequences for criminal actions. Meanwhile, some fans expressed sorrow and confusion, struggling to reconcile the image of a cultural icon with the reality of his crimes. Beyond the immediate public reaction, the legal outcome carried significant implications for Diddy's career and legacy. Corporate partnerships, endorsements, and upcoming projects were put on indefinite hold as companies distanced themselves from the controversy. Music platforms and event organizers faced pressure to address his work's promotion, raising broader questions about the separation of art from the artist. Cultural commentators noted that the case would serve as a cautionary tale, reinforcing the idea that fame does not exempt one from moral or legal obligations. On a personal level, Diddy's family and close associates faced profound upheaval. Emotional statements conveyed their struggle to process the verdict while attempting to protect younger relatives from public scrutiny. Meanwhile, advocacy groups highlighted the broader societal message. Crimes of manipulation, coercion, and exploitation must be met with accountability, regardless of the perpetrator's social standing. In the months following the trial, discussions continued about systemic issues, celebrity culture, and the importance of believing and supporting victims. Legal experts analyzed the court's decisions to understand how precedent could shape future cases involving influential figures. While Diddy's personal and professional future remained uncertain, the case underscored an enduring principle: justice operates independently of fame, power, or influence. Society watched closely, reminded that accountability is universal and that every individual, no matter their status, must answer for their actions.